Hey everybody, good afternoon. Happy 228 day. Today is a significant number in my family. 228 happens to be a personal angel number, and my grandparents lived at 228 West Main Street, and there's always many correlations with the number 228 in my family. And for most of us, we have a pretty strong spiritual connection to that number. So we know that our angels are near when we see that number. It pops up on a receipt. We wake up at 2:28 in the morning. So today seemed like a pretty good day to kick off this channel and share a little bit more about why I started a YouTube channel and what the theme is going to be. You may think it is about sound healing or Reiki or holistic health, and we're going to be talking about all those things. But I wanted to share a little piece of information with all of you. You may or may not be aware that in August of 2018, I'm going to start back at the beginning of my journey. I went to a concert in Philadelphia, and it was, for me, one of the concerts of a lifetime. I love freestyle music from the 90s. So I'm a huge fan of CVB, Taylor Dane, the Jets. All those really significant freestylers from, late 80s, early 90s. So I was at the concert about 3 rows from the stage. And when I left the concert, just like many of us that attend concerts or loud events, my hearing was kind of fuzzy, and figured, when I woke up the next morning, everything would be fine, and woke up and my hearing was still fuzzy on the right side. So my right ear still hadn't come back fully. And over the next couple days, it still kind of lingered and never really recovered from that trauma. And it was in one of the stadiums, so the sound was pretty contained, and started treating myself for earwax, ear blockage, thinking, okay, this is just something that I'm gonna, look into using essential oils or like an over-the-counter earwax removal kit, and lo and behold, it'll be gone. So did that for probably a week and a half. Wasn't really getting any results. So I went to an ENT, and the ENT said, oh, you just are suffering from eustachian tube dysfunction. Sometimes that happens when you participate in a really loud event. It's just trauma. So the eustachian tube is kind of like all curled up, and it just needed some time to open up. And he offered steroids to help with, inflammation, and I kindly declined. Just didn't want to put any kind of medications into my system, and I just wasn't feeling like that was right. Intuitively, it didn't sit well with me. So going on probably another month or two, and things still kind of remained the same with that right ear. I still had my hearing had not come back in the right side, and I started experiencing numbness on the right side of my cheek, and over time that progressed into pretty much the portion of the right side of my face and into the right side of my tongue. And fast forward probably another couple weeks or a couple months, and started experiencing some balance issues, and just really related all of this back to, the hearing loss, and it still wasn't back. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm a little bit older since the last time I went to a concert, where it was that loud, and probably just needs a little bit more time for everything to come back naturally. And So this was August of 2018, and again, over the next few months, having more symptoms come up, and family members started noticing that I couldn't really hear from my right ear, and they're like, "Oh, you really should go and maybe get that checked out again. It's been a while." And fast forward to August of 2019, things are still the same, and just feeling like I kind of have Novocaine on the right side of my face 24/7. So I was starting to get a little bit frustrated, being a sound healer and having that as my soul's purpose. It was something my body adjusted to, but it was still a little frustrating for me, mostly in large spaces where there's a crowd and there's a lot of noise. It really made it difficult for me to hear what the person was saying, either when they were speaking in the right side of my ear, or just in general. It was kind of hard to make out words when there's all kinds of commotion and noise going on around me. So in November of 2019, just a few months ago, I went back to that ENT and I said, "Hey, I have some new symptoms." The hearing hasn't returned on the right side, and having the numbness on the right side, and having some balance issues where I, don't feel stable, just randomly here and there. Nothing particular triggering it. And I figured he would say, "Okay, let's start the steroids." And I was all game for that by that point, dealing with this for over a year. So he then proceeded to tell me that he was going to write me a script for an MRI because he thought I had what's called an acoustic neuroma. And so I looked at him and just I was like, "Okay, you're crazy." I really don't think I have an acoustic neuroma as a tumor in the intracranial area. Really didn't think that I would have a tumor in my brain. So I went to have the MRI done on Christmas Eve. And on December 30th of 2019, I received the results, and he was right. I was diagnosed with an acoustic neuroma in my right side. So, wow, it's been an adventure, to say the least. I have to say that I think that concert saved my life. My tumor is a moderate size, and it is benign, while acoustic neuromas are typically benign tumors of the intracranial and the brain. They can, cause things like hydrocephalus, which is fluid buildup, and can even be fatal. So I'm very fortunate that, Stevie B saved my life, hopefully. So, hey, if you're out there, if you're watching this, thank you so much. But it triggered something, and these are typically slow growing tumors. So I would say it's, been around 25, 30 years, slowly progressing to that moderate size that it's at today. What's interesting is that all of the material and the research I've done say that acoustic neuromas do cause auditory issues, and hearing loss is definitely one of them. But typically it's gradual. So mine was sudden hearing loss. So that was another reason I kept in the back of my head, I'm thinking, "Oh no, not me." So these are rare tumors, happen 1 in 100,000 people. They represent approximately 7% of all brain tumors that are out there. And they are intracranial. I'm just reading some information so I can make sure I share this correctly. It's a growth that arises on the 8th cranial nerve that's leading from the brain to the inner ear. So there's delicate nerves that are involved. My auditory nerve obviously is compromised. So when I went back to the ENT, they did a hearing test and found that I have severe hearing loss on the right side. The facial nerve is also been compromised. That's leading to the numbness on the right side of my face. And the nerve that controls balance is also been affected. So, it's a tricky situation. Although it's not cancer, it's still leading to some pretty significant changes in my life. In addition, because of the size of the tumor, it is compressing on my brainstem and my cerebellum in my brain. So we need to get this guy out. So that leads me to my next piece of information. After I found this out, of course, really went through a lot of research, and I went from Jefferson to Cornell to NYU, and just really trying to find the top teams, top docs in our country that treat acoustic neuromas. This is a very specialized niche in neurosurgery and the ENT world. So I wanted to make sure that I really had the best medical team possible. And I've decided to go with Dr. Golfinos at NYU. I really love his bedside manner, and he's got a great sense of humor. And I met with him last month, and again, getting that he was actually my third opinion, and he is a neurosurgeon. And it's amazing that I was able to sit down with him and have a conversation where I felt so comfortable. It felt like I was having a conversation with an old friend. So I, then stepped out of that meeting and that appointment, and I was like, he's a neurosurgeon. He's been doing this for over 25 years, and again, specializing in treating acoustic neuromas with his partner, Dr. Rowland. So I am very fortunate in being able to access that level of care. And in addition, I've been doing, of course, a lot of holistic approaches to self-care. So taking advantage of sound healings, which chanting keeps coming into my life, and acupuncture, and have discovered the benefits and the powers of chaga and different types of mushrooms that have really amazing medicinal properties to them. And I'm already a healthy eater, so just really taking an even better look at what I'm putting into my body and trying to eliminate any kind of sugar and any kind of, I don't typically eat dairy or gluten, so really being aware that I really right now need to fuel my body for what's coming up over the next couple weeks. I've got back to the gym, doing cardio and lifting weights, and just really honoring how my body is responding and listening to my body, and taking the time to journal and spending a lot of time with family, and reaching out to friends, and just really nourishing the mind, body, and spirit. So my surgery is set for March 11th, in less than 2 weeks. And I am so ready for this. I'm really ready I keep saying, to get this party started, because, we're going to be going into this procedure, and it could be hours and hours long. I've seen videos, I've read that some of these surgeries can be up to like 14 hours, because it is a delicate type of surgery with everything that's involved with the nerves and of course the brain. So I've affectionately named my tumor Rishi because it does look like a mushroom. And I set intention several times a day and will begin meditating over the next day or two to shrink Rishi and eliminate Rishi. And that is really the goal of surgery, is to remove the entire tumor without compromising any of the delicate nerves that could be wrapped around poor Rishi, because I'm done. He's been a great visitor for the many years that we've been together, but I'm over you, Rishi, so bye-bye. So I wanted to share this for several reasons. I want to offer hope and light to those that are newly diagnosed and maybe they need extra support or they don't have a support system. I'm so fortunate to have such an amazing family, amazing tribe of friends that have my back, to be connected with the angelic realm and know that I have these spirits surrounding me. So for those of you that are just beginning your journey, I am here supporting you, and we're going to get through this together. There's so much to learn and so much out there. The wonders of the internet and social media. I'm so fortunate that I found there's an Acoustic Neuroma Association of New Jersey, and the president, that from the moment I reached out to her, she said, let's set up a time to talk. And she has put my nerves at ease several times. And an Acoustic Neuroma Association that's national, that I have to show you guys. This has been one of the most valuable resources. There was another booklet. And in addition to what I've read online, these pamphlets. So just a basic overview about acoustic neuroma. So again, if you're recently diagnosed, please check them out. So Acoustic Neuroma Association, so ANA. Go on their website, request a new patient kit packet, and they'll send that out to you. Within a week, you're going to get all this amazing information. There's all kinds of details and illustrations that are in here. This is great for, pass this along to your family so they know exactly what is happening in your body. Look at this illustration. It shows exactly where all of the nerves are, your eardrum, eustachian tube. It's all there. And this is, okay, so you've been diagnosed, so what's next? So all the different treatment options. So one thing I do want to touch on, there are 3 treatment options for acoustic neuroma. One is watch and wait. For me, I was doing that unknowingly, watching and waiting. And radiation is another option. For me, personally, the size of my tumor is moderate. So there's a potential that with radiation, it can swell, the tumors can swell. And that can be swelling that happens for even up to a year or two. And it just, for me personally, it was not safe to receive radiation at this point. with the size of the tumor, the location, my age. Surgery has really been, and surgery is the last option. So there's three. So surgery really was the best approach. And to both specialists, Cornell and NYU, said from right off the bat, they looked at my MRI, they said, we got to get this guy out of here. So some of the other things that they sent me, there are wonderful newsletters, and all of this information is for free. It's amazing. And there is a list of other acoustic neuroma patients that have gone through treatment. It actually lists their name, their state, contact information like phone number, email, their tumor size, their treatment year, their age when they were treated, and their current age, and the different types of treatment they've had. So maybe they had surgery, they weren't able to remove the entire tumor, they had to go back in, give it some radiation to help stunt the growth, and any languages they speak, if they have any hearing devices. So, in the future, I may look at having some type of hearing aid that transfers what's going on the right side to the left side, so I can hear what you're saying to me. And any other talking points or information. Again, there's also the New Jersey Association, so if you live in our state, definitely check them out. I have connected with several patients that are part of that organization, and it's just been so wonderful. Actually, a couple patients that had Dr. Golfinos and Dr. Rowland as their team and had the same exact type of procedure that I'm going to be having on March 11th. So it really helped to shed light on what to expect, and again, kind of calm my fears. It just is such a beautiful support group that's out there. So talked about support, some of the things that I'm doing. So a lot of people are asking me right now, hey, how are you feeling? Wow, less than 2 weeks. So, every day is a little bit different. There's some days when I feel totally unmotivated to even get out of bed. I just kind of am a little fatigued with all of the information that I've been taking in and researching. And right now I'm just in major preparation mode. I'm just trying to get all kinds of supplies ready. The doctor's office sent me a list of supplies that would be helpful when you're admitted to the hospital and after this type of surgery. So just trying to go through that list and check everything off, and preparing, some meals that I freeze, stick in the freezer, and some nourishing, yummy things. So I'm feeling really good. I really feel like I went through a lot of the grieving process at the beginning and very quickly moved into acceptance. And it was a little slow go for the trust, trusting that this is part of my journey and there is a reason for it. And I'm just really open to whatever messages that there are. And I feel that I'm going to be on this list one day, supporting other AN patients that are just receiving their diagnosis and sharing words of wisdom and pearls of wisdom and a lot of hope, just a lot of hope that, we're going to help you get through this. And there's nothing to fear. It's, recovery from what I've read and have watched. There's an actor, Mark Ruffalo, who you may be familiar with, that actually had an acoustic neuroma. And he has an amazing video that's posted on YouTube. And one of the things that he says that a lot of other patients have said that I've heard is just being patient and again honoring yourself and honoring your body. You know, what is what can be scary is the unknown, and unlike heart disease or cancer where things are a little bit more cut and dry with procedures and surgeries and treatments, they really won't know until they start the surgery and they see what's going on in my brain, and how much they're going to be able to remove, and that we're going to go for the goal and remove the entire tumor. So it's kind of like you're in limbo and not knowing, you might have some facial paralysis and that could go away, or you may need vestibular therapy. You might need some therapies after. So we'll see what happens on the next part of this journey, and the next chapter is surgery. So what I'm asking for all of you right now, lots of prayers, lots of intention that we're going to be able to remove the entire tumor. Prayers for peace of mind and trust, acceptance for me and my family, and especially for my medical team. Just instilling them with the knowledge and the energy that they may need for this procedure, to get through the hours that I'll be on that operating table. So thank you so much for watching and listening to my story and my journey. I'm sure that I've, left some things out that I'll go back and say, oh, darn it, I wish I would have shared this. But again, it's just the beginning, and I wanted to make this known with my words. I'm not always the best with words. I always have said I'm really great with writing. That is definitely my forte. But wanted to really share this with all of you in person. And I'm really very happy to have you all in my life. I'm very blessed to have had all these connections. And as far as my practice goes, my business, I have some sound healing events happening tonight and tomorrow, and not scheduling anything for next month. And I am setting all intention to be back in the summer, and we'll see where life takes me. So I'm gonna sign off, and I send many blessings and much love from my heart to yours. Peace.